Okay, welcome to day 2 of our spring semester final review for Algebra 1. Question 9. A businessman wants to rent a car to travel to another city. The rental charge is $45 per day plus 51 cents per mile. She wants to spend, oh, that's confusing. That should probably be he, huh? Because a businessman would generally be a he. Okay, he wants to spend $300 not including tax. What is the number of miles that he can drive the car in one day? All right, let's see. So if they want to spend $300, then what they're going to spend is made up of this $45 a day plus 51 cents per mile. That sounds kind of like an equation. So $45 plus, for one day, right, because it says one day right there, plus 51 cents per mile, and I'm just going to use M for miles, and that's going to equal $300. Okay, so that's just an equation to solve. You could use your NSolve on your calculator. Just remember that is menu, 3 for algebra, and 1 for numerical solve. Okay, and we type our equation, so that would be 45 plus 0.51 M equals 300. And then we have to remember to do comma M because we have to tell the calculator that it's going to find M. Okay, and we hit enter and it says M would be 500. So back here, what is the number of miles? We let M be our miles, and that answer was 500. So M equals 500. Or 500 miles. Alrighty, so simplify the expression 102 x to the negative 3 y to the 8th divided by 17 x to the 6th y to the 5th z to the 0. Alright, so since we're dividing, we're going to divide 102 gets divided by 17, and let's see, what is that going to be equal to? 102 divided by 17, and we get 6. So that's equal to 6. And then we're dividing like bases with different exponents. So when we're dividing, our rule is that we subtract. So that would be x to the negative 3 minus 6, or x to the negative 9. Okay, and then we have y to the 8th minus 5, which is y to the 3rd. And then z to the 0, well, there's no z up top, so we could leave it as z to the 0, but we know that anything to the 0 power equals 1. Okay, so if I put that back together, I now have 6 x to the negative 9, y to the 3rd, and 1. Okay, well, multiplying by 1 doesn't change anything, so I'm just going to rewrite that as 6x to the negative 9, y to the 3rd, and then I remember I'm not allowed to have a negative exponent in my simplified form, so to get rid of that negative, I have to write the inverse, or the reciprocal of x to the negative 9, which means I'm going to bring this term down below and be dividing by it. So that would be 6y to the 3rd over x to the 9th. Okay. Alrighty, moving on. Which expression describes the area in square units of a rectangle that has a length of 13x to the negative 1 y to the 5th units and a width of 4x to the 6th y units? Alright, let's see. Area of a rectangle is found by multiplying the length times the width. So I would multiply 13x to the negative 1 y to the 5th times 4x to the 6th y. And when I'm multiplying, I multiply the coefficients. So we're going to have 13 times 4, which will be 52. And then we add the exponents, so x to the negative 1 and x is a like base, so we add 6, and we get that x would be to the 5th power. And here we have y to the 5th. And then this one looks like y to the nothing, except we know any 0 power would give us 1. So we remember there's an understood 1 there. So we're going to add 1, y plus 1. So y to the 6th. So we put that all back together. 52, x to the 5th, y to the 6th. All right. Number 12 says, which graph best represents the linear parent function? Okay, so I know the word linear means that it's going to have something to do with a line. So this is not a line, and this is not a line. Okay, and the parent function, I remember, goes through the origin, so this is not it. And it has a positive slope, which this one does. So this must be my answer, J. That's my linear parent function. So question 13, if y is directly proportional with x and y equals 72 when x is 9, what is the value of y when x equals 21? All right, so directly proportional, I know a proportion, right, would be like y over x, so 72 over 9, because when x is 9, when y is 72, and if they're proportional, it's going to be equal to another y over x, so they ask what is the value of y when x is 21. And then to solve a proportion, we cross multiply, so we get 9y equals, what's 72 times 21? Anybody? 1,512. Okay, and so then we would divide by the 9, and y equals 168. Logan has a picture that is 4 inches wide and 6 inches long. He wants to enlarge the picture proportionally so that it has a width of 16.25 inches. What is the length of the enlarged picture? Okay, so I know that he's got a picture that is 4 by 6, and then he's going to make it bigger. That's what enlarge means. And the width, which is 4 right now, will go up to be 16.25. So they want to know, well, what would the length then have to be? Since it's proportional, we can say 4 is to 6 in the same way that 16.25 is to L. And we will multiply on the diagonals there. So 4L equals, let's see, do I have a cheat sheet? I do not, so I'm going to have to go to my calculator. Okay, so we do 16.25 times 6. That's 97.5. It's a pretty decent radio station. Okay, and then we divide by 4. And we find out that the length is 24.375. Let's see, what would that be? Inches. Sweet. The equation of two lines are, what is the value of x in the solution for this system? Solution for system, okay, that sounds like one we've done before. We used our calculator. We went menu 3, 2. The number of equations was 2. Our variables were x and y. And then we just type in our equation. So we have 3x minus 5y equals 8. Whoops, too many 8s. All right. And then x equals 2y plus 5. And then we hit enter, and it tells us -9 and -7. And the question was, what is the value of x? X is the first number, so x is -9. So we got -9, what was it? negative 7. So x equals negative 9. Moving on. An architect drew a floor plan for his living room as shown below. What is the expression that represents the area of the architect's living room floor in square units? Okay, so since it's area, we know we multiply the length times the width, so we're going to multiply 5x minus 4 times 2x plus 1. Now we had a bunch of different ways of multiplying, so just to help some of you out, some of you liked to draw your arrows and you multiplied, and then you wrote things out, and so then you drew your arrows and multiplied this way. Many of you like to set it up as you did in elementary school, where you, what we call stacked it, and you multiplied 1 times negative 4, 1 times 5x, and then you came over a space. 2x times negative 4 is negative 8x, 2x times 5x is 10x squared, and then you added these together. Okay, and then some of you also like to use the boxes, the lattice, to put your things together, and you put 5x minus 4, and then you did 2x plus 1, and as you multiplied, you got the same things we did on the other. Okay. Regardless of the method you use, your answer would be 10x squared minus 3x, because these being like terms right here, negative 8 plus 5, 5 minus 8, okay, you're going to get minus 3x, and then the minus 4.